When a team starts getting into a tailspin, you're the head coach. How do you revert that? How do you stop that?
How do you stop the fire? Well, I think this with teams, just like life, your habits create who you are. And all of a sudden, it keeps repeating itself. I always say this: you're coaching it or you're allowing it to happen, and you got to stop it. And they got into a bad way where things got away from them early, and they never seem to correct it now. Some of that's coaches, some of it's players. I mean, they knew what they were. When you turn the ball over, that's not coaching. That's players playing. When you commit penalties, I've never seen a coach get a penalty. That's players. So they got to figure it out. They need some leadership in the locker room, in my opinion. They were a young football team. When you watched them last year, they were 10-6. They won 6 games in the fourth quarter. So they didn't win those games this year.
They were 4-2 with 2 wins over playoff teams.
There you go. And the problem is they self-destructed. A lot of things, a lot of guys got hurt. Quarterback didn't play up to his expectations either. So it's fixable. But the players got to fix it. The coach will come in here and he'll demand things, but the players got to look themselves in the mirror on the offseason and decide, hey, we're a good football team. We're in a competitive division, which is a very good division. By the way, there's some good quarterbacks in that division. And so if they can straighten that out, they'll be fine.
How much of a problem, or was it a problem, was it just coincidence the London trip? There's like 2 different teams. They take off to London, they're 4-2. They're coming off a high right off the win over the Saints. They get mopped up by the Bears. It's like,
again, youth. There's a lot of youth on that team, and I believe this. I just think what they did last year, how do you handle success? And you see a lot of young teams, that happens to them. You have some early success as a young football team, and rightly so. They had a bunch of young guys that played last year, and they walked into it this year thinking, well, hey, we're the Bucs. We're going to be fine. Well, you are the Bucs, and people know you won 10 games. They're going to play a little bit different, so it's a learning experience for all of them.
Here's another question for you. Obviously, there was no offseason, so opposing coaches, all they had to do was watch tape. Do you think that they came up with schemes to take Williams out of the game and throw some things at Freeman that he never saw, that maybe they had a problem to bounce it back from that?
Well, I think schemes are schemes, but it's still players making plays. And Josh Freeman was very good in the fourth quarter last year. He was able to bring them back. But the problem with them, I think early, when you watch their games, they always seem to be playing out of a hole. They couldn't score points early.
They couldn't, not at all.
And that's not good.
No.
Because your defense can only hold up for so long, and all of a sudden it becomes a 2 or 3 point lead, 2 or 3 score lead. You're in a throwing mode. And you don't want to be in a throwing mode. You want to throw when you want to throw. You don't want the other team to dictate when you have to throw. When that happens, the gelling doesn't work very well. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you. What are your thoughts on him as a coach? What do you think he brings to the college game?
Well, I think, he's got tremendous character. He's walking into a tough spot. He really is. Because he's going to have to transform that football team. The sad thing about that whole situation, players had nothing to do with it. The players in that university are going to really suffer for it right now. How he handles it, how he handles the recruits that are coming in, it's going to take him a while, and it's going to take him a while to recover from this. But I think he's the kind of guy that he has vision. He's a good football man. He's got a bunch of character. And the players have to realize this, and that university has to realize this. There's been too much good there for a lot of years for this incident all of a sudden for people to think, well, Penn State's a bad place. It's not a bad place. They had some people in position that didn't make the right decisions for the university. And so now they're all kind of, they're feeling the blunt of the blame.
Have you been watching the search, and how would you rate this hire? If it's true?
I just think, when you hire a guy, you got to feel like he's committed to the program. And they're looking for a guy, in my opinion now, a guy that has a lot of integrity. And the integrity is real simple for me. Your words and your life got to match up.
Do you know him personally at all?
I know him some. I don't know him really personally. I've known him from afar. But I think, he'll do a good job.
Thanks a lot.
Just want to get back to tonight.
Well, good player. I mean, what did you like about him?
I love that size and speed's hard to match.
Yeah, it does. Exactly right. When you got size and speed and you're young, it helps you because at the next level, those are a couple of traits you got to have, and he has that.
What did you see from the guys tonight? You spent all week with them, but they came to play tonight.
Well, I think the thing is, do they regurgitate the things you're trying to teach them during the course of the week? I thought early in the game, everybody was nervous. We had a couple guys, the lines were tackling them actually. They were falling down. That's anxiety you respect. These guys haven't played football. What I liked about this game for the most part, there wasn't a lot of fouls. we missed some tackles, but you watch some of these college games right now, guys, it gets ugly early. I thought for the most part it was competitive. Obviously, we took the ball away. We scored some touchdowns on defense. That makes that score a little bit different. But for the most part, I thought both teams did a good job of competing.
How rewarding was this week for you, this week's experience?
Oh, it's just being around high school guys, getting ready to go to college. I mean, this is the future of our college football. There's a lot of good players here that are going to a lot of big-time universities. So being around young guys, and I say this, you know, character like good soup is made at home. And their parents have done a good job with these kids. I mean, they came in here understanding that this game wasn't about them so much, it's about the next class. And I challenged them. I said, hey, we want to put on a good performance. We want to act like college athletes because that's where you're going. And we want to do this thing with class, not only in practice, but off the field of practice. These guys were put through a lot, man. I mean, they got here, but there was a lot asked of these guys, and they answered the bell.